5 p.m. in Siaman time. So
4 p.m. Indonesian time, right?
yeah.
4 p.m. Indonesian time, right?
Could you
Okay.
repeat, sir?
Yeah. So how long the 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's give our full attention to Professor Tony Kurniawan as he takes us into this topic. Mr. Kurniawan, please.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to deliver my lecture to the scientific community at Pajajaran University, Bandung. So today I would like to deliver my lecture about the impact of plastic waste pollution on marine ecology, especially for microplastic pollutions. So, wait a moment, because you can see my screen, right? Can you see my screen sharing?
Yes, yes.
Hello? Yeah. Wait a moment, because I cannot move the PPT. Just a moment. Can you see my PPT? No? Wait a moment. Okay. So I would like to introduce the faculty member, Dr. Puntara Pasaribu. And this year, the collaboration with your esteemed faculty member also bring me to be top 2% of highly scientists in the field of environmental science, as you can see, according to the Scopus and Stanford University. Yeah, this is the credential recognitions from Stanford as top 2% scientists. Okay. So you can see here if you want to follow our footsteps, so I give you some idea about the numerical statistic that as scientists, later you can aim to be top 2% or top 1%. So this is just only a clue where you can put yourself in the same shoe as me in the future, okay? Only indicator, okay? It's not exact prescription, but this is only indicator. If you want to be a scientist in marine science or in environmental science, or you can see here the trend that you can achieve to be top 2%. This I want to share with you. So other international recognition also was obtained from German Federal Ministry for Education and Research, also from Skop Songyu as a scientist. So let's start with the lecture today. So what are the common environmental problems today? Okay, what are the common environmental problems today? So I cannot see you directly. Therefore, usually I have interactive discussion with you in the class, but I cannot see every one of you. So the common environmental problem today could be water pollutions, okay, waste management, solid waste generation. So these are, we can see the impact in our daily life. So we need to think globally and act locally how to solve this problem. So we can work together, in our community, in our university, to think the practical solution to deal with the water pollution caused by refractory pollutant like microplastic pollutions. So imagine you have water pollution like this. If you know the first slide, the first, the black color, the black wastewater, do you know what is it? If you know, any people, anyone have idea what is the black wastewater in the left side? No idea? This called landfill leachate. if you know landfill jet, maybe in Indonesian called lindi, something like that. So in landfill jet also there is recalcitrant pollutant like microplastics. And the red one is from industrial wastewater, okay, from metal finishing industry. So you can see there are extensive pollution caused by refractory pollutant like microplastic. You can see from this slide, yeah. So microplastic is, the size is too small, okay, just in nanometer, okay. So even you may not aware that the water inside your drinking water may be contaminated by the microplastic pollution, okay, because too small. So the problem is caused initially by plastic bottle, as you can see in the right slide. So you can see here how the microplastic in the terrestrial environment. So there is degradation of fermentation, okay, by UV sunlight, and then there is degradation of the plastic become microplastics, okay. So it's very small, too small for naked eyes to see, to detect the presence of microplastic, okay. Or you can also find the microplastic from wastewater like this, okay. You can see here, too small, okay, from, perhaps in developing country, like in Africa or in, people do not realize that their tap water may be contaminated by microplastic. You can also find microplastic from chemical sources like this. Okay, so you can see the presence of microplastic everywhere from various sources, okay, in the environment, from chemical or in the terrestrial environment. And the most dangerous is microplastic pollution in food chain, okay? Because once the microplastic pollution come into food chain, it is difficult to detect or to remove the pollutants, okay? Once already in the food chain. And as you see from this figure, the microplastic is present, in water, in soil, and the pollutant could be eaten by aquatic organism like fish, and the fish we will be consumed, right? We will consume the fish, and we don't realize that we have digest the refractory pollutants in our body.
Mr. Tony,
Yes,
could you please share your PPT in full screen?
Oh,
yeah.
You don't see my PPT?
I can see, but it just a small.
Okay, just a moment. Okay, so this is, we can see the microplastic pollution from downstream to upstream. You can see from production until pollution. So there are many types of microplastics, okay? It depends on the volume, on the type of the polymer. You know that microplastic originally synthesized from polymer. And I will tell you later how to deal with microplastic pollution chemically, okay? And then from production, it comes to distribution. There are many products in our daily life that, use plastic, right? And their content is varying from one product to another. And then people use or reuse the product with plastic, okay? And after we have used or we have utilized the plastic, the product become waste, okay? And waste disposed in the environment, either in the landfill or in recycling. So some country plastic bottle, okay? They return the plastic bottle into the Okay, but maybe this technology is too advanced or too costly for application in Indonesia. Okay, so usually people just dispose of the waste into landfill and the data about recycling. You can sorry, Japan has higher recycling rate compared to other country. Okay, because in Japan people try to minimize waste. Okay, it's become part of lifestyle for Japanese people to recycle their waste. So there are many studies on microplastic pollution in aquatic environment, especially in agriculture system. Okay, so in China, usually the source of the microplastic source from plastic film or from sewage sludge. Okay, even from textile, road, they have microplastics. Okay, and you can see the concentration here is quite high. Okay, per kilogram. Can you imagine if the microplastic, exists in plastic bag, okay, or in realize, okay, it will, it will pollute our body, right? So we talk about the relationship between plastic consumption and income per capita. You can see here from GDP, we can see that the higher GDP, more plastic waste is generated. Okay, you can see Japan, Australia, Korea have higher GDP, and they consume a lot of plastic waste. Is this different from developed country like Pakistan or India, even Indonesia? Okay, they have lower consumption of plastic waste. But when we draw the straight line, India and Sri Lanka have lower consumption of plastic waste. Usually, most of the country have higher consumption of plastic waste, partly because of their GDP level. So there are many approaches to manage the plastic waste disposal. Okay, perhaps people use incineration or disposal using landfill. Landfill is widely used for plastic waste disposal because it's very cheap, cost effective. Well, using incineration is very costly, especially in developed country like Japan or Germany. People use incineration, and in Japan, they convert the heat from incineration into electricity. So you can see the principle of circular economy implementation in plastic waste disposal method in Japan. But in Indonesia, we still do not use incinerations for plastic waste disposal method. In other country, like Japan or Germany, they use also chemical recycling to deal with the plastic waste. I will explain to you later. So you can see here the plastic disposal waste management from different country. Okay, you can see here landfill is widely used method for plastic disposal waste management. Okay, and even in OECD countries, they use landfill. Only a few countries use incinerations. Yeah, because very expensive to use incineration for waste disposal. So there are many technology in industry 4.0, yeah, to detect, to trace the plastic. Okay, especially now people use apps to detect the presence of microplastic pollution in products, and they could use blockchain or AI or Internet of Things to see whether there is microplastic pollutant in products. They use RFID or chemical tracer. So now the technology become sophisticated to detect traceability of the plastic waste. So when we talk about the global climate change, we need to understand the limit of planetary boundaries, because if the pollution is not properly tackled, the microplastic could impact freshwater use, freshwater availability for our drinking. So people have to think how to best manage the microplastic pollutions. Okay. So first, people could use biological approach. So in recent study published in Nature, scientists test the use of waxworm caterpillar to eat plastics. Okay, so after certain months or certain days, the plastic is degraded. Okay, biologically using waxworm caterpillar. Okay, and another biological process you can see here using enzyme. Okay, they use biodegradation. Okay, on the using enzyme to deal with the microplastics. You can see here the mechanism. There is biodegradation and mineralizations. Okay. Another one, another approach, people convert the microplastic waste into to build block. Okay, you can see here many unused plastic waste is used to build block. Okay, like wall. This is in Taiwan. Okay, so people do not dispose the plastic waste, but they make it as a wall, plastic wall. Okay. You can see here another block made by recycled plastics, okay, for construction industry. So you can see here, depend on the creativity or creative approach of people to deal with plastic waste, because plastic waste eventually will be degraded and generate microplastic. So we need to think various approach to deal with plastic waste pollution. Okay, so in Japan, people think practically, so they want to convert the plastic waste into oil or diesel fuel. Okay, because the world need renewable energy, and about 1.3 billion people, they don't have access to electricity. Okay, and the presence of plastic waste could help provide diesel fuel. So you can imagine here, non-recycled plastic waste. Okay, and for degradation of the waste, you can imagine it takes millions of years. Okay, different from organic waste. Okay, so plastic waste is difficult to degrade. Okay, so what to do? So if we think about waste hierarchy, we could try reuse, recycling, or energy recovery. The least option is landfilling. So people in Japan try to turn non-recycled plastic waste into energy. Okay, first they try to reuse and recycle using mechanical recycling to recover the plastic waste. But if the waste could not be recycled, then they use a chemical process to turn the plastic waste into fuel. So you can see here the plastic waste. Okay, using pyrolysis technology, they could get different fossil fuel. You can see here different type of fuel. C is carbon. Okay, depend on the type of the carbon. So you can see here different color, different product from pyrolysis technology to degrade the plastic waste into fuel. So why it could be possible? So you can see here, first, plastic waste originate from crude oil. Okay, and from crude oil, they synthesize into virgin plastic, and then the consumer use the plastic waste, right? And after consumption, the plastic become waste. So people think to do chemical recycling to convert the plastic waste into crude oil or naphtha. Okay, so this is the implementation of circular economy of crude oil, okay, into plastic and vice versa. So this is the logic or the flow chart of pyrolysis technology. Okay, so using pyrolysis technology, we can have different product, including fuel or heat or electricity, okay, from plastic waste. Apart from biological process, apart of chemical recycling, in other country like Vietnam, they use apps, okay, to deal with plastic waste. Different company in Vietnam use several apps to deal with plastic waste. So you can see here. You can see here. You can see here different feature of the apps. Okay, they have charged the user fee. Okay, some free, some 13 months. Okay, so there are incentive for people who recycle their plastic waste. Okay, depend on the platform. So how is about Indonesia? So Indonesia still use legislation to deal with the microplastic pollution, and the presidential regulation has been issued to deal with marine debris. Okay, another regulation is 35/2019 on extended producer responsibility. So this regulation encourages producer to have long life cycle for the plastic packaging on product. Okay, so different country, different amendment, different legislation. So you can see here, every country have their own legislation. Okay, Bangladesh, China, India, Japan, Korea. So in Korea, it's unique because they charge people who generate plastic waste based on the volume. So the higher the volume of the waste, the Korean resident will pay more for their plastic waste disposal. Okay, and China also has enforced circular economy policy to minimize waste from plastic. Okay, so you can see here, every country there have their own legislations to deal with plastic waste. So far, there are many barriers to deal with plastic waste in Indonesia. For example, lack of infrastructure. You can see here, so limited the infrastructure that Indonesia have to monitor, to trace the microplastic pollution throughout the value chains. So if there is insufficient infrastructure, how people could deal the microplastic pollution effectively, right? Another problem is limited financial resources. So the government do not provide incentive for people who want to recycle their plastic waste. In Germany, people have incentive to return the bottle. Okay, for example, after they drink the beverage, they could come to dispose of the plastic, global plastic treaty. So there is a lot of discussion currently undertaken by international stakeholder at UN level. Okay. So there are many policy instruments to control microplastic pollution. So depend on the category, depend on the country. Different country have different purpose, different situation to control the microplastics. You can see here, depend on the policy objective. Okay, some people, some country have stringent requirement like Japan. Okay, they have high per capita. They try to minimize the ways to achieve zero waste society in the future. But for developing country like India, like Indonesia, they don't have stringent requirement and the lack of infrastructure or financial resources to deal with plastic waste. So therefore, the plastic leakage rate is quite high, about 1.7 kilogram per year. Okay, so Indonesia could learn from developed countries like Japan, like Germany, where problem with related to waste disposal, like microplastic or like non-recycled plastic waste could be dealt effectively. So there are some conclusions that I could draw from my lecture today. So to protect marine ecosystem, Indonesia could not work alone. There is growing need to undertake global efforts to minimize plastic production, to enhance recycling, plastic waste recycling, and improve waste management. Okay, especially in coastal cities. Okay, like Jakarta, like Blitar, like Banten. Okay, near coast, near beach, right, near sea. And there is growing need for stronger policy on plastic production. Okay, for example, in China now they ban the use of single-use plastic. Okay, for chopstick. Okay, so the government try to minimize the use of plastic in daily life of people. Okay, and the China government also enforce the policy. Okay, to limit the plastic, they put into effect polluter pay principle. So people who discharge their plastic waste into the environment, they could get fined, either personal or industry. So last but not least, to achieve effective solution, this requires participation from every stakeholder in community, in the government, and industry. For food for thought, I have several key takeaway for you. Okay, so plastic waste, especially microplastic, interfere with food web. Okay, so it could contaminate the food. Okay, from small plankton to large predator. So when the food ingested, this plastic could introduce toxic substance, and this could contaminate the food chain and affect the marine biodiversity and public health in the long term. And another concern is plastic debris could smother coral reefs. So you can understand in Manado or in Bunaken, the coral reef, if you ever go to Bunaken for diving, you can see the coral reef there have problems like this and pollution due to microplastic pollutions. So the coral reef become damaged. Okay, with your naked eye, you can see the damage of the coral reefs because the plastic could block the sunlight and inhibit photosynthesis. Another concern is plastic pollution is hazardous for living organisms. Okay, not only for human health but also from living organisms like bird, fish. Okay, that they often mistake plastic for their food. So we need to protect the environment from plastic pollution. Otherwise, our food chain will be contaminated by the microplastics. Yeah, this is the end of my lecture. If you have any question, you are welcome to ask me.